Hello. I've been gone for a minute just to take stock and to recharge, but look who's back. And I am ready to bring you all the insightful reports and knowledge products from the global development space. This week's recommendations touches on climate change, mental health in Sierra Leone, human rights issues in Sudan, and the linkages between COVID-19 and trade facilitation in Southern Africa. So let's get into it, shall we? First up is a grim report from the Human Rights Watch that documents serious human rights violations by the South Sudan National Security Services, from torture and other ill treatment of detainees to unlawful detentions and killings, and pretty much everything in between. The report is based on interviews with 48 former detainees and 37 others, including policy analysts, activists, former military, security and intelligence personnel, and family members of people detained by the South Sudan National Security Services between 2014 and 2020. The report also makes recommendations to the President of South Sudan and key national security and human rights committees and offices, including the South Sudan National Security Services, as well as international donors. I move on to Sierra Leone and to a report on the long-term mental health impact of the war and Ebola outbreak by Amnesty International. The report shares personal stories of trauma and ongoing distress due to lack of support. The report also details some of the gaps in mental health care, such as lack of a skilled and trained workforce, little to no government prioritization, as well as issues with service delivery. The report ends with recommendations for the government of Sierra Leone and other international actors and donors to improve mental health care and support for the people of Sierra Leone. This is a really good read for anyone designing mental health programs or advocating for mental health policy changes in Sierra Leone. On the subject of climate change, I bring you a report that looks at the gendered perspective of climate-induced displacement. Published by CARE International, it outlines the causes and consequences of climate-induced displacement, the discriminatory causes and impacts of climate change, the triple injustice of climate change, poverty, and gender equality, and it recommends gender transformative solutions to support more gender equal and resilient communities in sustainable environments. From the desk of the African Export-Import Bank is a brief that looks at the effect of rising COVID-19 infections, negative commodity terms of trade, the sharp tightening of financial conditions, and the falling foreign direct investment due to heightened uncertainty on Africa's growth perspective in 2021. It puts forward that the growth outlook for 2021 is contingent on the release of pent-up demand as the pandemic is brought under control, advances in COVID-19 therapies and vaccines, bold monetary and fiscal responses, and the effectiveness of coordinated policy responses undertaken by governments and development finance institutions. Last but not least is a look at the negative impact that the coronavirus border closures have had on trade facilitation in the Southern African Development Community region. It examines the opportunities for the AfCFTA to address trade facilitation challenges, especially in the context of trade facilitation reforms. The report puts forward that to reduce the trade facilitation issues that have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 crisis, policy interventions have to, number one, prioritize the institution of functional national trade facilitation committees, two, digitalize information and documentation transfers, and number three, promote investment in port infrastructure. Those are some thought-provoking research pieces recommended for your reading this week. Continue to share with us your publications or those of your organization. For now, stay safe and have a great week. Goodbye.